Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Water disruption in sections of Portland. The National Water Commission (NWC) is reporting that high turbidity levels and block intakes have forced the shutdown of operations at some of its water supply facilities in Portland. The NWC says this will result in the disruption of water distribution to communities supplied by these systems. Affected facilities include the Kensington Pump Station, the Norwich Pump Station, the Windsor Forest Pump Station, the Harning Pump Station, and the Hope Bay Pump Station. Customers are being advised that once conditions are favorable, the necessary remedial activities will be carried out to facilitate the restart of operations and water supply distribution. Landscaper charged after being held with homemade gun. 25-year-old Michael Silvero, a landscaper of Whitehall Avenue in St. Andrew, has been charged by the police after he was found in possession of a homemade gun on Plum Lane in the parish on Saturday. The Constant Spring police report that about 12:10 a.m., cops were on patrol in the area when they accosted Silvero, who was acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. The police say he was searched and a homemade firearm was found in his waistband. He was subsequently charged with illegal possession of firearm. His court date is being arranged. Remarkable improvements in life expectancy. The world is on the brink of a demographic milestone, according to the World Health Organization (WHO). Since the beginning of recorded history, people aged 65 or older will outnumber children under age 5. Driven by falling fertility rates and remarkable increase in life expectancy, population aging will continue, even accelerate. The number of people aged 65 or older is projected to grow from an estimated 524 million in 2010 to nearly 1.5 billion in 2050, with most of the increase in developing countries. The remarkable improvements in life expectancy over the past century were part of a shift in leading causes of disease and death. At the dawn of the 20th century, the major health threats were infectious and parasitic diseases that most often claim the lives of infants and children. Currently, non-communicable diseases, NCDs, that more commonly affect adults and old people, impose the greatest burden on global health. The potential economy and societal cost of NCDs of this type rise sharply with age and have the ability to affect economic growth. A WHO analysis in 23 low and middle income countries estimated the economic losses for 3 NCDs, heart disease, 3 stroke, and diabetes in these countries would total US 83 billion between 2006 and 2015. Reducing severe disability from disease and health conditions is one key to holding down health and social costs. The health and economic burden of disability also can be reinforced or alleviated by environmental characteristics that can determine whether an older person can remain independent despite physical limitations. The longer people can remain mobile and care for themselves, the lower are the costs for the long-term care to families and society. In the meantime, generations of children and young adults who grew up in poverty and ill health in developing countries will be entering old age in coming decades, potentially increasing the health burden of older populations in those countries. With continuous declines in death rates among older people, the proportion aged 80 or older is rising quickly, and more people are living past 100. The limits to life expectancy and lifespan are not as obvious as once thought, and there is mounting evidence from cross-national data that with appropriate policies and programs, people can remain healthy and independent well into old age and can continue to contribute to their communities and families. Bar clash results in farmer being booked for Mason's murder. A 27-year-old farmer was slapped with a murder charge following the stabbing death of a man in their community of Huntley, Manchester earlier this month. Mario Wilson, alias Pinch, also of Huntley District, is charged with the murder of 40-year-old Mason Garrett White. Police reports are that about 7:40 a.m. on Thursday, December 16, both men were at a bar when a dispute developed between them. The altercation turned violent and Wilson allegedly used a knife to stab White in his abdomen. The injured man was taken to hospital, where he succumbed to his injury the following day. A probe was later launched, resulting in Wilson being subsequently arrested and the seizure of the knife that featured in the fatal stabbing. Wilson was charged following the collation of several witness statements, along with a caution statement he gave to the investigators, the police said. His court date is being finalized by the police. A painful Christmas. Christmas for the past 22 years has been less than merry for Odion Brown, a customer care representative at the Registrar General's Department (RGD), who has been fighting to keep her leg after a motor vehicle accident in Toulon in 1999. This year, however, the season brings a particular sadness as her battle against amputation is seemingly ending in defeat. It is the best option at this point, doctors have told her after 6 major surgeries on the right limb that has been smashed in 3 places and which has still not healed. Today, she limps around her office with the help of a cane. A painful bone infection in the leg, draining mucus into bandages as she does so. Her colleagues rally around her, their best efforts still falling short. On most days, Brown wears a smile, but beneath it lies a whirlwind of depression, worry, and debts that have reduced her multi-paycheck to a lunch ticket, a take-home of $679 after most outstanding bills are paid. She calculates. Some lenders do not get paid, she said. I have nothing, and I feel like nothing. I work and all my salary goes back into this, she explained Wednesday, forcing an obviously costly smile. Different doctors keep saying different things, and now they're at the point where they want to amputate from below the knee. Honestly, I don't think I can handle it, she said, her smile giving way to tears as she hinted at death. I feel like I am nothing. I have tried for 22 years to save my leg, and every time different doctors tell me to do different things, I try to do them. My salary is gone, and now to hear that they want to cut it off, I am not going to handle it well, she cried. Brown's situation since age 25 has drastically affected her adult life and relationships, and at 47, the woman lives with her 3 sisters who care for her. Every day I am sad. I long to be happy, she said. I owe a lot of people and institutions. Persons threaten to come to my workplace every day, and I ask God not to let anybody come here and embarrass me, she cried. I am tired, and I don't want to lose my leg, she said, noting her body weight and the fear of being more dependent on others. I don't know how to tell them to cut off my leg. How am I going to move about? I am fat. How am I going to come to work? How am I going to survive? It is not like I can hop on one foot. This leg is not strong, she stated. I take painkillers every day. Though mainly because of diabetes and poor health care, the Caribbean, led by Jamaica, has been dubbed the amputation capital of the world by researchers at the University of the West Indies, who in 2019 revealed that there is 1 amputation per 1,500 diabetic patients locally. These do not include Jamaicans whose limbs have been amputated because of gunshot or motor vehicle accident and who have been seeking extensive counseling to continue after their traumatic experience. It is a hard pill to swallow, explained Danielle Brown, associate psychotherapist specializing in trauma, who works closely with the National Council on Drug Abuse. Brown himself had serious psychological challenges, accepting his hand, which was severely damaged in an accident years ago. For years, he wore only long-sleeve shirts, he said. I understand where she is and where she needs to go. The problem is that most people cannot see themselves beyond their physical state. The accident itself was traumatic, and now they are stuck in a loop. Replaying that accident over and over, he theorized generally. It is about how these persons view themselves. Do you view yourself only in a physical or a spiritual way inside? If you cut off your feet and you have your 2 hands, are you still you? There are plenty of persons now who don't have limbs but have adopted and are thriving in life. So, most of the time, it is about the mental state of the person, said Brown, volunteering Thursday to work with Odian Brown. It will take much and effort, and she can overcome the trauma, he said. I grew up with it, and after a while, I just put that aside and move on, said 58-year-old Pearl Powell, who lost her leg at age 13 when a truck ran over her in St. James. Since then, she had given birth to 8 children and still handles her domestic duties, she said. She, Odion, just needs to seek God and just try to comfort herself. That is the greatest part. According to Odion Brown, she was doing delivery for a company where she worked when the driver of the van in which she was traveling failed to complete and overtake on the Barker Main Road on December 7, a day which forever will mark each Christmas. The vehicle collided head-on with another van and its front crumbled, crushing her leg within it. In and out of consciousness, she was whisked to hospital, where her full ordeal was revealed days later. Unfortunately, she said, nothing financially favorable came of insurance claims in the courts, partly because the driver of the vehicle she was traveling in was deemed at fault. Additionally, she stated that efforts to locate her employer overseas were fruitless. The company that she worked for has since closed. When contacted last week, attorneys close to the case asked not to be named. They explained, however, that the insurance company failed to entertain her claim as the policyholder, her employer, had either breached the agreement or was not at fault. Other sources close to the case further explained that efforts were made to locate the defendants to enforce the court's judgment, but those two failed despite their efforts. Ms. Brown said it was then suggested to her that she hire a private investigator as the suspicion was that the defendant, her employers, were overseas. That option soon collapsed, however, as she said she did not have the money to do this. Now back at square one, she lamented, and with fruitless follow-up visits to the attorneys years after, she hopes for a miracle. My Christmas wish is just to wake up and see my leg all right. My wish is that I don't have to lose my leg, and at least that I can pay up all my debts. I owe a lot of persons and institutions because of this, and I don't know how I am going to pay many of them, she said. Last Wednesday, colleagues hailed her as a vibrant team member who is always smiling. She is very quiet, and you would never know that something was wrong with her. She always put out her best, said Tanika Clown, Deputy CEO of RGD. She stated that her colleagues are planning to launch a GoFundMe campaign in Brown's name. Anyone willing to make a donation to Odion can do so at the Jamaica National Bank account number 102-25611. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.